Hello and welcome to Goddess Resurrection. My name is Britta and I am your host. And today's episode is episode number 5 of season 2. And we're talking about how to flow. The flow to flow. Yeah, to be or not to be. Hello, how are you, my gorgeous sisters? I hope you are well. I hope you are breathing and feeling through these intensities of these amazing frequencies coming in as we are really leveling up and purging through whatever still needs to be healed and cleared and transformed, of course. So from here, I do invite you to meet me in the breath. Go ahead and take in some nice, deep, slow, conscious in and exhales. And remember to open your eyes. Stay present. Learn, integrate to be deeply connected through the breath into your feminine energy, into your soul, your light, your knowledge, your wisdom, your guidance, your intuition, while fully present to life, while fully conscious to everything that is in your space and further on in the world, in the universe, right? There are layers, there are levels to being in the flow. There are layers, there are levels to being in the feminine energy. It is an ever expanding experience. It's magical, it's empowering, it is the way of the goddess. And so this is really why I want to talk about the flow and how to be in the flow today, because it is the way of the new earth. It is what conscious co-creation is all about. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep breathing. And maybe as you can hear or see me breathing, it will remind you to stay in the breath, because the breath practice, let's face it, is the ultimate practice. It's the ultimate connection. Make it your daily, come back to your daily go-to. Find ways to remind yourself to consciously breathe. Nice, deep, slow in and exhales as you are going about your day. It's a practice and you have to get used to it. Yes, but you will get used to it. You will find it to be normal to be in your breath and to be at work with the kids, with your partner, with your friends, working out, going food shopping, whatever it is that you do throughout the day and night. You will remember to breathe and for that to become the new norm. And then you will notice when you're not breathing, and then you will, where's my breath? Because your breath is your connection into your flow. Without the conscious breath, you can just hands down know you're not in the flow, right? So the breath has to come first. When you are breathing, when you are consciously in your breath, you are already in your flow. And then from here, it's a fine tuning. From here, it's a deepening. From here, it's a balancing act. From here, it's a practice that grows and strengthens you continuously. And that's the journey. That's the learning of who you really are, playing human very consciously, very actively, right? Yes. And so from here, go ahead and imagine yourself in your goddess form. And what is goddess? Goddess is you being aware of your soul, you being aware of your true self, of your essence, of who you really are, that you are this light, here to play human, here to be fully embodied. You are aware of yourself as this infinite, eternal being. And of course, you are fully in your worth, right? Because when you are in your essence, when you are in your light, you know you are one with source. You know you are an extension of source, whatever you want to call it. This is not about separating us into divisions of source. We all know that we are all one. We all know the truth, and modern science is confirming it over and over again. Quantum physics, take a look. We are all one. So there is no such thing as separation. We don't need to separate through faiths or beliefs, right? That's just more of old paradigm. So when we are in our goddess, when you are in your goddess, you know who you are. You know you are all the worth, all the love, all the grace, all the strength, all the authentic empowerment, all the clarity, all the vision for your soul's incarnation, for your soul's time here on earth. Because the only reason you are in goddess form is because you're here. You're playing in this dimension. This is where we refer to your divine embodiment as goddess, right? Because when we are not on earth, when we are not on this realm, we don't need a body. We don't have a body. We're just spirit, we're consciousness, we're existing in higher frequencies and higher dimensions where we can take on form, but generally we don't, right? We look very different in our true selves. But when we are in a human form, we're here to have these bodies, these vessels, these vehicles through which we learn, through which we grow, through which we evolve on our soul level. And right now, we also are here to evolve our souls through this human experience, right? Hence the purging, hence all of the darkness and shadow being pushed to the surface for us to work with, for us to learn from, for us to really work with in order healing it and releasing it and clearing and transforming and integrating and in the end illuminating all parts of us, all aspects, bringing it all back into light, becoming the divinity that we really are while in human form. That's really what ascension means. And that's what goddess work is. It is understanding and living the truth of our essence. And so when you are in your goddess, when you are in that magical place of your true self, and I'm sure you've been there many times, when you feel so at peace, right? When you're in your feminine energy, you feel at peace with all that is. You trust the orchestration and timing of your life. You trust yourself, you trust your light guidance, you trust everything is happening for you. And of course, there are levels, of course, there are layers. Sometimes when we are more and more and more in the feminine energy. So for example, when we are very deeply in our feminine energy and we're opening the part of the brain that is the feminine energy, and again, has nothing to do with gender, has nothing to do with gender identification, nothing, zero, zip. All of us, no matter how we identify, we have the masculine and the feminine energies to work with on purpose for this human experience because it's a part of the ascension process. So when we are very, very deeply opened in our feminine energy, which of course I love to be in that space, this is when we journey. This is when I do my shamanic journeying. This is when I dimension travel. This is when I am in my higher self. This is when I am in my earth connection, deeply one and anchored into Mother Earth, right? The full balance of the earth and my divine light self, present to both. Because my physical body, the vessel that it is, the temple that it is, will stay here. It belongs to the earth. When my time here is done, the physical stays behind with Mother Earth. And my light, my soul self, will return into the oneness, into the essence of my soul self, free from form, free from the limitations that this energetic realm places on us, on purpose, with intention. So we can be in our feminine energy, and that is oftentimes the space when we're in deep meditation, when we're feeling the truth of the oneness, of the light, of the expansiveness, of the infinite possibilities that we really are. We feel the love. We feel that, yes, we're in surrender. All is well. Everything is timely. All is a part of this journey. All is a part of this ascension. No matter how challenging some days may be, no matter how challenging it may be to look into the world and to see everything that's going on and to see choices that are being made. When we're in our feminine energy, when we're deeply in our light, we see that every soul has its own timing. Every soul has its perfect healing and ascension timing. Everything here is a part of the process. Everything is happening perfectly. No matter how traumatizing it is. When we're in our truth, when we are in our light, we know and we see clearly the big picture orchestration at play. Now, of course, this is what went wrong in the 60s, for example, right? Because it was part of the ascension process beginning, where spirituality had a huge movement, a huge push into awakening, where everybody wanted to get out of here. Everybody was taking some kind of a drug to get out of here, to journey into the truth and the universe and the space of bliss and clarity and eternal freedom, yes? But it was very ungrounded. Nobody wanted to be here. Nobody could deal with their lives. Nobody wanted to deal with the minutia of the day-to-day responsibilities. And it was all about getting out of here. Well, now that we're truly in the ascension, it's all about bringing it into the physical, bringing our light and our eternal selves and our grace and our strength into this experience, embodying our light, grounding ourselves within Mother Earth, within this incarnation as strongly and as deeply as we possibly can. Right? So it's not about going anywhere, but bringing it all onto this realm so we can anchor in the light, so we can hold the light, so we can walk as the goddess and be the expression of our light selves. So the 60s, as that example, was, of course, that great imbalance of, either here or there, either full force in the masculine or full force in the feminine. Whereas being in the flow, and how to be in the flow, is being in that sweet spot of balance. And it's a practice. Versus when we're too in the masculine, right? When we're only scheduling, only focusing externally the schedule, the time, rushing to the next appointment, getting on the next call, picking up the kids. I got to do this. Oh, let's do this, right? It's all about external, 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 external. When we're too in the masculine, we're disconnected from our true selves. And that is what has been happening in the old paradigm, right? It's been lifetime after lifetime after lifetime only being in the masculine energy, only focusing externally. And that has caused all of this, what should we call it? Pain. Yes, pain. However it shows up for different people, but yes, it's painful. You know, it's painful to be so disconnected. It's painful to feel so alone. It's painful to feel so limited. It's painful to feel such lack. It's painful to see such trauma. It's painful to see such darkness. And it's not that the masculine energy is creating that, right? Because the masculine and feminine energies, again, have nothing to do with gender and are just pure, pure, pure energies that we are here to work with as the divine beings, as the souls that we really are. We're here to use this physical vessel, this temple, consciously aware of both energies within and learning to balance them, learning to be in both. And everybody's going to have their way. Everybody is going to find their way with this balance, right? So, but just to come back to the old paradigm one more time, where everything was external, everything was living in the masculine energy, it was survival of the fittest. And this is where the ego hooked in, right? This is where the ego is able to condition. This is where the ego is able to hold on to. This is where the ego is able to take over. It's through the masculine energy, which is the earthly, that we receive our patterning and our wounding, right? It's the part of the brain that remembers the suffering and the pain and projects it into the moment and into the future. Oh, I don't want to feel that again, right? And so I can have days where I am very much in the masculine energy and I'm going and I'm very busy and I'm super focused, but I notice it. I'm aware of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is a very masculine energy day, but I'm still staying in my breath. I'm still staying connected, feeling when I'm pushing, feeling when I'm just rushing too much and it feels overwhelming, that I say to myself, okay, Britta, come on, back into center. Let's take a few breaths. Let's come back into center. Let's come back into balance. It's okay. We're going to get everything done. And whatever is not going to get done today, we're going to get to tomorrow. Because nothing is worth me not being in my balance. Nothing is worth me not being in my awareness of self any longer. Because it's not about what we get done. It's about the ascension. For me, it is. And for anybody who's on the path, it is too. We know that the external is just the illusion we get to work with, right? The ultimate goal is our life. The ultimate goal is to be in this balance, which allows us to truly enjoy life, all aspects of life to the fullest. And so if I do have a day where I'm very, very aware of so much to do, that I'm all in the masculine energy, I make a point at the end of the day to come back fully into my feminine, fully into, okay, maybe I'll take a bath, or what can I do for myself? What do I feel like I need right now? What would feel good to me? So I make sure I recreate the balance for myself. Always, always. Would I like to just be in my feminine energy all the time? Yes. But she doesn't really let me. She doesn't really let me because I have a mission to fulfill, to complete. And this mission, being so in my feminine energy, being so open and listening and always paying attention and always being in my light, it's exciting to get up in the morning with the vision in mind, with my list of things to do ready for the day, with my awareness of how is my daughter, how is my partner, how is my friend, right? So it's deepening and deepening and deepening into your balance. And really, really, really paying attention to when you're too overwhelmed, when you're too rushed, notice you're too in the masculine. That's when you have to come back into center, and you have to now find ways in which you can come back into your feminine energy, coming back into, okay. Because it is only when you're in your feminine energy as well, when you're staying connected into your feminine energy, like the goddess, that you're able to read the room, that you're able to feel yourself, your triggers, that you're able to pick up on other people's energies and needs, that you're able to stay in the timing, in the rhythm, in that flow, because flow is really a rhythm. You're going with your soul's divine timing. You're trusting your soul's divine path. You're trusting your soul's mission that only you can know. Only you can know your timing. Only you can know your steps. Only you can know who to work with, who to connect with. Only you, the soul that you are, the light that you are. And then remember, the masculine energy is the earthly for this experience. And so you use the masculine. The masculine in its divine state is the energy that receives the guidance, the intuition from the feminine and puts it into action. Because remember that the feminine energy is the portal, is the energy through which you receive yourself, your knowledge, your guidance, your wisdom, your rightness, your sensory opening, reading the energy, reading the room. Because you're in charge. The consciousness that you are, the observer that you are, the presence that you are, through the breath, through the staying anchored in the breath. You're in that rhythm of your soul, of your timing, of your frequency. And then you're using the masculine energy, the correct thinking, the correct perceptions, the correct actions, the right words, the right emails, the right texts to send, the right steps to make, the correct commitments for yourself in the correct timing. And there is, of course, a fine-tuning that's necessary, right? Because once you know, once you have a feel for, okay, so this is what I need to do, this is where to go with it, then don't let the masculine energy of you just run with it and push and force and rush things. Because it's not going to get supported in the new earth paradigm. It's not about the manifestation. It's about you being in your goddess. It's about you staying in your balance. It's about you staying in your presence, using both energy, using and being in both energies intentionally. And when you're staying connected through the breath in your feminine energy, You feel it. You feel the timing. You feel when to send that email. You trust the timing of your life. You don't force anything. You don't rush it. You feel it. You feel that, oh, okay, that's all right. Yeah, okay, I'll do it maybe tomorrow or the next day. Because today this is coming up, and so now I'm tending to this. Right? You allow the rhythm of your life. You allow the rightness and peace of your inner self to be manifested through your words, through your thoughts, through your choices, through your actions. And this is now manifesting from the light, through the human experience as the light, for the light, with the light. So your flow is really your rhythm, your soul's rhythm, your light's rhythm. And it doesn't stall, and it doesn't resist, and it doesn't push and force. It is a flowing with life. It is a flowing from within, from the inside out. It's you staying in connection through the breath, you paying attention to the timing, to the fluctuations, to the shifts and the changes. Not fighting any of them, but going with them. Right? You are that river, that flow that just flows over the rocks, alongside the rocks, down underneath them. Right? You, from this inner alignment within, through the breath, with your feminine energy, will always know what to say, when to say it. You'll feel it. And it's a practice, and it deepens, and you will become more and more comfortable with it. But the key component here is to know your conditioning. Are you somebody who rushes, who pushes, who forces, who wants to do more and more and more and more and more? Then that's okay. You just gotta, rein it in a little bit. Focus more on being in the feminine. Focus more on being in your breath. Focus more on listening. Focus more on, okay, do I feel good? Do I feel good in this timing? Does it feel peaceful? Does it feel right? Yeah. And then from this place, you take the steps. You manifest action, right? And so it's you getting to know yourself. You learning your rhythm, you trusting your light self and your guidance. And so this is, of course, a beautiful, beautiful experience that will make sense. It'll resonate because it comes from a place of rightness, because it comes from a place of authenticity within yourself. And sometimes you speed up a little bit and then you're coming back. And sometimes you need to lean all the way in just to regroup. And that's okay too. And then you take it back into action. So there's a time and a place to be imbalanced. There's a time and a place to choose imbalance, to be more in your masculine. And sometimes there's a time and a place to go back within and just to be more in your feminine. But then there is that sweet spot of your balance where you're really aware, where you're really paying attention, where you're really learning to be this present to yourself all the time, through all experiences, because it is really the most productive place, right? Because in a world that is all about productivity and doing and going, it is the best form, the best way to your highest timeline. And when we're saying productivity, it is the ascended form of productivity. It is the fast track to your highest timeline, to your highest potential. That only you, your soul, your light of your soul can take you on. Because no two souls are alike. No two paths are alike. No two missions are alike. So use the breath to stay in your center, stay in your self-awareness, in your presence. Choosing very consciously from the timing, from the flow, from your light, from your feeling of rightness, from your peace, into and through the masculine energy, being the goddess that you are meant to be in your incarnation, on your highest timeline, for your mission work here on earth. Good. So from here, you will see, it'll make sense. Deepen, 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 deepen. And eventually, I'll really get into some, other teaching aspects, which I'm already doing with my personal clients, of course. But keep practicing. And the first step is the breath. Use the breath to keep connecting in. Keep even being aware of the necessary balance. And then from there, you'll be deepened and guided by yourself. You'll see. You are. So from here, thank you so much, as always, for your time, for your energy, for your presence, for your light. As I am sending hugs and kisses, love and light blessings to you and yours. Ciao for now.